There was a major issue that happened today. And
we doing this?
Yeah, I really wish I could have talked more to our leader about this, but Barstool'S posted something that was so atrocious and just disrespectful and completely inconsiderate of a great group of people. And they just use some slanderous terms. Our good friend Evan is a dwarf. He's a.
You guys all know Evan, Dwarf Mamba.
Yeah, he is the fucking best. And they used the M word, and he was personally he felt offended, and it sucks. I every time he gets offended like this, I internalize it. I try to do my best to understand what he's going through, and I ask questions on how I can be there to support, and whenever he needs help, I just want to do my best to assist. But this is just wrong. What were they thinking?
So the context here is Barstool Sports posted this answer to the internet, and it says, would you rather have sex with 2 M words or 2 7-foot-tall girls? The reason I say M words, if you watched Evan's episode, that is a derogatory term. Apparently in the dwarf, the little people world, it's the equivalent of saying the N word. But I'm quoting Evan. Evan.
I think the most important word that you said there, and listen, I had Evan's back from the beginning on this one. I told him, hey, this is horrible that this happened. But you said a word in that sentence, apparently. You said apparently that word is like the N word to dwarves. Mm-hmm. And why that's important is I told Evan today that although us in this house intimately understand the importance and impact of that word, the great majority of people outside this house have no idea that it's a bad word, which makes the situation extremely, extremely tricky. Does Evan have the right to be extremely pissed off? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Does he have the right to throw a fit about it? Absolutely. But he also said that to me, that he felt, I'm trying to be a little careful here, but he feels the same pain from that word as he feels that the N word brings up. Mm-hmm. And all I wanted to do was remind him that there was a 70, 80, 100-year revolution around making that word not okay to say. People sat in the back of buses. Or said, I won't sit in the back of the bus. People died as a result of trying to make that word not okay to say. And so where this word is different is that revolution hasn't happened. Evan is.
Do you know why? Do you know why?
Why?
They are an extremely marginalized group.
Oh, yeah.
I talk to Evan about this all the time. The only reason why there isn't a massive uprising is because the statistics, there are not enough little people to feel like they have a voice as a collective. And it's unfortunate. And I talked to Evan about this about Evan. I cannot talk today. I'm going to go home.
No,
I'm home.
You are home.
God, fucking. I wish I could quit my job.
Why don't you slow it down a notch?
I know. All right. But Evan posted this article from independent.co.uk. It says, laughing at dwarfism is the last acceptable prejudice, which is exactly what I'm saying. It's the very last acceptable thing that no one speaks up on. But don't seek my approval for your intolerance. Then it says, if you need to ask me whether it's okay to tell a joke about my stature, you already know the answer. And
do you think it's the last acceptable? Like this is the thing. Like I said, I'll state it again. I'm with Evan. I love the kid. But I believe that using misguided and inappropriate terminology to describe marginalized groups is a massive fucking issue. Marginalized groups across the world, whatever they are, whether it's dwarves or any other marginalized group, continue to struggle with the nomenclature of how they're described. Right. And so this is just it's a tricky situation. I think Evan is being extremely brave, standing up.
I agree.
I think, it's going to take him. It's going to take Peter Dinklage. It's going to take the people that have platforms and voices to stand up and talk about this. Mm-hmm. But
it'll happen.
And other people, though. I hope people start to realize, especially even from this moment right here, that you have to watch what you say when you're talking about people, because words hurt, and some people take things differently than others, and what might not offend some person is certainly going to affect someone else. And you just be more careful when you speak. If there is any sort of information on the internet of a word that might or that is derogatory towards a group of people, avoid it.
Being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes though is hard.
Yes.
It's to become like a master at that and like truly understand. 90% of people just don't give a fuck.
Well, not even that,
they want to laugh. They want a good laugh at someone else's expense, and
that's
it's
not good enough.
so funny until the finger's pointed at you.
100%.
I've been there. It's part of the reason why I feel anyways like I'm able to see clearly like the landscape of what I say, who it's affecting, and how it's affecting them. And sometimes this is like a separate note. I'll intentionally attempt to affect someone a certain way, but most of the time I'm not trying to hurt people with my words. And he got really upset about that. And I think Evan's going to be hopefully a very strong voice for this community. I know he has the potential to, because like you said, there's not many little people who have been vocal about their circumstance.
And I've actually seen, unfortunately, and I'm sure Evan hates this, but I've seen a lot of dwarves who are on the other side of the spectrum, and I'm like, what should I call you? And they say, call me Midge.
That's the worst part.
You know what I'm saying?
That happened at Coachella.
Right.
And someone was screaming it. I was with Evan. Someone was screaming it, and Evan's like, yo, they're saying it. I'm like, so I'm ready to rip someone's fucking head off. Yeah. And I go up, I'm like, yo, just so you know, that shit isn't cool. That really affects and hurts some people. And he goes, what are you doing? I'm like, the word that you just said. Like, do you see my friend? It's not acceptable. And he goes, what do you mean, Art? This is Midge.
It's my homie.
And his friend, who is a little person, comes out, who they address as Midge. And so I looked at Evan, and now I'm mind fucked, because it's like it isn't quite yet a universally accepted thing in the marginalized group itself. They're divided too, which makes their mission, their objective, that much harder.
Yeah. You have to cater only to one side.
Absolutely.
And that's the side that is offended by it. If there are people that aren't offended by it, that's fine. Let them be. Let them do their thing. But the biggest point I tried to make to Evan today, and he wasn't having it, and I'll talk to him about it. We'll figure it out. Is just that this, unfortunately, like I said, is a situation where most people are completely ignorant. If I told you to explain, some parallel universe theory, and you couldn't do it, I wouldn't get mad at you because you didn't know. People don't know that word is not acceptable. They just don't know. The guy who made that tweet from Barstool, and this may be an exception because Barstool runs on this kind of gasoline. They piss people off. They have fun. They're crazy guys.
Yeah.
But the guy might not have even known that it wasn't okay to say.